Chapter 10. Finally, Sarita could wake up late. That was probably the only benefit of having your children become teenagers. They could wake themselves up, prepare their own breakfast and tiffin, and head off to school without you getting disturbed from your sleep. It was all about training. The family had to be taught right from the beginning that you weren't going to be their maid. Start the family with lowering their expectations, and they wouldn't be disappointed later when you refused to comply. She imagined Geeta's family, who relied on her for every small thing, and she shuddered. When Sarita finally emerged from her room at 9 o'clock, she was fresh, happy to make them breakfast. Sarita believed it was the little things she did that held her entire family together. It mattered, some days, that they wouldn't let her buy new things and kept handing clothes down from one generation to another. But on most days, they didn't demand too much. And because she was so attentive towards her in-laws and asked them 10 times whether they wanted another roti, her husband adored her. She took extra care of his parents and, in turn, he took extra care of her and made sure she was satisfied, even in bed. She stretched her left arm to the side and heard a crick. She needed to crease out the aches of the previous night before she got up. Her whole body was sore from the antics Jay had thrust on her. She must ask him where he was getting these kinky ideas, but she was too scared he would take offense and stop. Alas, the dilemmas of a housewife. She went to the washroom, came out, and stood on the weighing scale, something she had recently bought for herself with the money she stole from Jay's wallet. She did that occasionally, and he didn't even know about it. A few hundred here and there, and she could save enough to buy a few things she really wanted, whenever the time arose. 3 kilos down! She squealed with joy. All the exercise she was getting on the treadmill and in bed had actually worked. She could feel her thunder thighs already looking more toned. Her heart lifted. The happiest thing in the world was when you saw the weighing scale needle go towards the left. No, it wasn't the birth of your firstborn. It was weight loss, the topmost agenda on a woman's mind on most days. Ma, Papa, she greeted her in-laws as she came out of her room in her new dark blue kaftan from Elko Arcade. It covered her from head to toe, with just her arms jutting out. Made her look like a sack of potatoes, but it was the best thing to wear in front of male members of your house, as it would never show you in a desirous light. What would you like for breakfast? Her father-in-law was reading the paper, and her mother-in-law was watering the plants in the balcony. It was a tiny little balcony that was used to look into the houses of the million other buildings that were peering into your house. Her mother-in-law had covered the area with various plants and cared for them like little babies. Sarita smirked and thought, if she cared half as much for her grandkids, they wouldn't be out of the house so often. This 3-bedroom apartment had started feeling extremely small for the entire family. Rahul hated coming back home. A few times when she confronted him late at night, he had slurred about life is so unfair and gone to bed. She was sure he was drunk. Kids today loved their alcohol. It was an alcoholic generation. It was the era of drinking and partying. How could adults ever think of stopping it? It would mean huge fights and tremendous fallouts. Sarita didn't want that. She just wanted her children to be happy. What will you make? Her father-in-law looked up from his newspaper. Poha, upma, eggs? Her in-laws made a face and she scowled. If they didn't like her food, why didn't they just make it themselves? She held her tongue. There's also cornflakes. It's quite a healthy diet with some skimmed milk. In our days, we never needed skimmed milk, snorted her father-in-law. We had full cream milk and we all lived to be 100 years old. Really, Papa? Sarita asked, her voice laced with saccharin. From today, I will give you only full cream milk. I also want you to live to be 100. She muttered to herself, if I didn't look after your cholesterol and diabetes, you would probably kick the bucket by New Year's Eve. She went into the kitchen while they called out to her to make them some eggs. Just then, she got a message on her lovely ladies group and checked who it was from. Geeta. She was dying to have an egg, a simple egg. Sarita thought she could kill 2 birds with 1 stone and wrote back to Geeta. Come over, please. I'm trying to figure out how to make an omelette in any case. So you crack an egg first, right? Geeta sent a smiley and wrote that she would be there in 2 minutes. Geeta came with a dozen eggs and a few other groceries in a bag. She greeted Sarita's in-laws. They had met a few times and adored Geeta. Whenever she came over, she whipped them up some extraordinary dishes and often brought her own supplies. She was a wonderful woman. "What will you make for us today, Geeta?" Sarita's mother-in-law said cheerfully. The father-in-law already had a twinkle in his eye. Sarita rolled hers. They were so excited to see her, as if she'd got them a shiny car. Geeta started whipping up some eggs, chopping up onions, put the microwave to an oven setting, popped in some toasts, took out some milk and sugar, and pretty much made herself feel right at home in Sarita's kitchen. Sarita sat in one corner sipping her tea. "I don't know how you can do so many things all together, Geets," Sarita said, using her pet name. "I'm so useless in all this." Geeta smiled as she popped in a dish into the oven and stood for a minute. "I love cooking. It comes easily. I've been doing it for years. Except I don't get to make any non-vegetarian food at home. And sometimes I really want to experiment with different dishes, you know?" "No, actually I don't know," Sarita said. "I've never had the need to experiment with any dish." They both laughed as Geeta flipped the French toast. Sarita told Geeta that she had lost 3 kilos. Geeta was amazed. "How did you do it?" "A personal trainer," Sarita winked. Geeta's jaw dropped. "Your in-laws let you have a personal trainer?" "No," Sarita slapped her forehead dramatically. "It's Jay," and she winked again. Geeta looked even more surprised, so Sarita continued. "Jay has been trying new things every night, and it seems to have helped. Either that or the constant running on the treadmill." Geeta took out the baked eggs with caramelized onions and sautéed tomatoes from the oven. She put the French toast with warm honey on a plate and buttered the fresh, hot brown bread that had popped out of the toaster. She put the spicy, crisp potato cutlets in a bowl and said triumphantly, "Come, let's eat. You're looking too thin." Sarita smiled as they sat at the dining table. Sarita's in-laws ate heartily, barely speaking to the girls. "This is all so good," Sarita said. Geeta was just glad that she could have a heart's fill of eggs. She hadn't seen Sahil since the day they had ice cream. It had been a week, and she missed him terribly. There had been no conversation with Shailesh, as usual, and Geeta missed the natural camaraderie she had with Sahil. Sometimes, no amount of female friendship could make up for the male attention that a woman needed. If Sarita and Jay could have such a rocking marriage after so many years, the least she deserved was a little bit of happiness in her life as well. And she and Sahil could go back to being buddies. Yes, she decided that was exactly what she would do as soon as she left Sarita's apartment. Geeta finished and helped Sarita clear up. "I want to know more about your personal training session later," Geeta whispered to Sarita as they were putting away the dishes. They exchanged a secret giggle before the maid came in to clean, and Geeta said she had to leave. And because of the lovely breakfast, curtsy Geeta, Sarita's in-laws were jovial the entire morning. Sarita went out for coffee in the evening with her gang of lovely ladies and chirped about how well the day had gone. Even when Ria came back with a bad grade on her science project, it hardly mattered to Sarita. Rahul was home in the evening and he spoke about some art school he wanted to go to. Sarita listened to him and wondered if he was gay. Which boy liked to do art? However, she didn't say a word. She decided to be supportive, all because of the lovely breakfast she had that morning. In the evening, once she had finished serving her family their supper of rajma chawal, she cleared up the dishes and went inside her room. Jay followed. Sarita was willing to try anything today. It had been the perfect day. News of her weight loss, a great breakfast, a good chat with fabulous friends. Whatever Jay did now would be a piece of cake. Jay took out what looked to be a contraption from the 1900s. "What is that?" Sarita asked in trepidation. This seemed so out of the blue. "A swing." Sarita's face belied her shock. "Relax," he said, as he started hooking it up to the curtain rod. "The man at Yari Road told me how to do it." "Yari Road? Andheri? Are you sure? Was he legitimate?" "What have you got to do with whether he's legitimate or not? This is not drugs." "It's equally wild," she muttered to herself. He finished setting up and put his hands on his hips. Chal, climb. It looked like a contraption between a hammock and a leather whip, neither of which Sarita felt was a comfortable proposition. Are you serious? I'm not climbing that. This'll be fun. Just open your mind and let your body free. I like the freeing the mind part, but won't it open the body a little too much? Jay pulled Sarita close. He wrapped his arms around her and slowly started gently massaging her neck. Release all the tension. The stroking of his fingers sent pleasant jolts through her body. He caressed the length of her neck gently, kneading his fingers into a soft, supple skin. She threw her head back, enjoying the massage. He had such magical hands. He swiveled her around as he laid gentle kisses on the curve of her neck. He slipped his hands underneath her kurta and fondled her breasts. She let out a soft moan. He pressed his body against hers, and she could feel the urge in his desire. She turned around, tossed her hands around his neck, and kissed him passionately. Their tongues explored the recesses of each other's mouths as the kiss sent new spirals of ecstasy through her. After so many years, the touch of his hands, his body next to hers, and his deep kisses still meant they were so much in love. They slipped off their remaining clothes. He took a deep breath. He was all ready for this new venture. Jay took the seat, the harness holding his chest and shoulders with a tight grip. Sarita moved slowly to sit on top of him. She put her legs through the harness that held her hips and waist in place. She settled on top of him as he moved the swing with his leg. And as the swing moved, he slipped more and more into her. She felt waves of pleasure rolling through her body as the double movement aroused her more. Her anxiety left her as she felt more secure in the harness. She held on to the swing from the ropes that were hanging and let out a loud groan. Jay laughed out loud as he thrust himself deeper into her. It was an exhilarating feeling to know your wife loved this new form of lovemaking, the shapely beauty of her naked body bringing him to the edge of frenzied passion. Her breasts tingled against his hair-roughened chest. It was exhilarating. With each swing back and forth, he pulled in and out of her body, leaving them both in pure ecstasy. She tossed her head back and arched her back in sheer pleasure. This was a wonderful new adventure. If hindsight could be sold in the supermarket, it would become more popular than rice. Sarita knew she had done something wrong the minute she heard the crack. Her movement made the tension on the rope tighter. It couldn't take the weight off her body. Jay's eyes popped out in fear as everything happened in slow motion. Suddenly, the harness broke. Sarita saw it all again and again, as if it was a Hindi television serial. She looked up and saw the loop of the harness tear. She shouted for Jay to watch out. Steadily, the harness broke from its loop. Before they could get out, he lay flat on his back with her on top of him. To break her fall, she landed on her right hand, and she could feel an excruciating pain tear through her body. The fall, the fracture, the humiliation was too much for Sarita to bear. At that moment, all she could think of was the dealer from Yari Road who had sold the damn contraption to Jay. She knew she was going to find him and give him the thrashing of his life when she recovered from this shock. Her in-laws were banging on the door. Beta, what fell? It sounded like the expensive painting you've bought for your room. I hope it's not broken. Sarita knew she would not only kill the Yari Road dealer, but also her father-in-law one day. No, it's not the painting, Papa, she said, as her face turned from a deep crimson of shame to a dark blue of pain. She muttered to Jay, Your stupid parents want to know if the painting has broken. What do we tell them? She quickly got dressed, dismissing the fact that her right arm couldn't work. She didn't want her family to see Jay and her naked with a swing. How humiliating! Jay made some excuse, kept the harness away rapidly, and wore his clothes. He mumbled back, Stick to the story. We were trying to do yoga and you fell down. Yoga? She asked. Are you mad? No one does yoga after dinner. It's new yoni yoga, Sarita. Stick to the goddamn story. He looked at her for a brief second and asked, Did you come though? Sarita answered with a smile, even though she was about to lie to her in-laws and head to the emergency room. Long time back, baby. The pain suddenly returned for both of them. He nodded, happy he had pleasured his wife before giving her this pain, and desperately needing some ice for his groin. He had no words for his mortification when he opened their bedroom door and saw his children and parents standing there, wondering what was going on. Just then, Sarita grabbed her purse and said, "We need to go." "Where?" Jay followed her. She opened the front door. "To the hospital. I think I broke my arm with the yoni."